My name is Cameron, and I am recording this from my home in Dubai, a city of glass and gold where the sun never seems to set. I moved here to escape the bone-chilling shadows of my past, but I have learned that some types of frost don't settle on your skin. They settle deep within your soul. Years ago, in the winter of 2021, I took a high-level government post in the Siberian wilderness, near the industrial mining city of Norilsk. It was a place of permanent twilight, where the sun vanished for months at a time, leaving us in a world of bruised purple skies and a wind that sounded like 1,000 dying animals. I had gone ahead of my wife Alina to secure a home and prepare for our new life in the east. The night I arrived, the blizzard was so fierce it felt like the sky was physically collapsing onto the earth. My driver, Victor, suddenly slammed the brakes. He looked at me with eyes full of a terror I didn't yet understand and begged me to take the wheel, claiming his father was dying in a nearby village. I was young and arrogant, so I let him go, stepping into the driver's seat of that heavy Soviet van. As I drove deeper into the frozen forest, the headlights cut through the swirling sleet, revealing a figure standing by a crumbling stone wall. It was a woman, nearly 9 feet tall. She was wearing a shimmering blue dress that sparkled like frozen electricity against the white snow. Beside her stood a silent, small child. As I drew closer, I saw her face. It was covered in thick, neon makeup that ran down her cheeks like melting plastic, and her eyes were hollow, lidless pits of absolute darkness. I didn't stop to help. I floored the accelerator, the engine screaming as I fled into the night. But when I looked in the mirror, she was gone. There were no footprints in the snow, and the woman and child had vanished as if the earth itself had swallowed them whole. I finally reached the government outpost, a grim concrete monolith that felt more like a tomb than a residence. The caretaker showed me to my quarters, a room filled with heavy oak furniture and the suffocating smell of ancient dust. On my first morning, I found a dozen colorful glass bangles arranged in a circle on my suitcase. I hadn't bought them, and no one had entered my room, yet there they were, freezing to the touch. That night, as I lay in the oppressive silence, the mattress sagged. A heavy, warm weight settled at the foot of my bed, as if another person had climbed under the covers. I lay paralyzed until I gathered the courage to kick out. My foot hit something solider, warm, firm back. I lunged for my flashlight, but the bed was empty, though the indentation remained. The hauntings became more aggressive over the next few days. I would hear a child sobbing in the walls, and the glass bangles would reappear in my pockets no matter how many times I threw them into the woods. I was losing my mind until Victor told me about Mikhail, a local shaman. Mikhail warned me that the woman I saw on the road was a tether, an ancient entity that had latched onto my spirit the moment I looked into her hollow eyes. He said she didn't want my life. She wanted my body so she could walk the earth again. On the final night, the temperature dropped so low the trees outside began to explode from the internal frost. Mikhail stayed in my room, playing an old tape player that blasted a low, rhythmic chanting. As I drifted into sleep, a weight landed on my chest that felt like a mountain of lead. I couldn't breathe as a gelatinous, invisible mass pressed the air out of my lungs. Through the haze, a blood-curdling shriek tore through the room, a woman's voice, screaming in absolute agony. The weight vanished, and I saw Mikhail battling an invisible force in the center of the room. He told me to run and never look back. I woke up 2 days later in a hospital in Norilsk with frozen hands and a heart that barely beat. Victor told me they had found Mikhail in the outpost, dead in a kneeling position of prayer, his body turned to ice. He had traded his life for mine, taking the entity's wrath upon himself to break the tether. I left Russia within the week and never returned, moving my family to the desert of Dubai, thinking the heat would protect me. But even now, years later, I refuse to sleep in a double bed. I have 2 single beds in my room because I am terrified that one night I will stretch out my legs and feel that familiar, solid warmth waiting for me at the foot of the bed. Still hear the clink of glass bangles in the quiet moments of the night. A reminder that while Mikhail saved my life, the woman in the blue dress is still out there in the Siberian dark, waiting for the frost to return. If you have ever felt a weight on your bed that shouldn't be there, or heard your name whispered in a voice that sounded exactly like a loved one who is miles away, please tell me your story in the comments. I need to know I am not alone. Before I sign off, I have to tell you one last thing that I didn't include in the official report. Mikhail told me that this entity doesn't just travel through the fog. It travels through the telling of the story itself. He said that once someone hears about the tall woman in the blue dress, she catches a glimpse of their reflection through the screen they are watching. So, tonight, when you turn off your lights to go to sleep, I want you to do me a favor. Don't look at the foot of your bed too quickly. And if you feel the temperature in your room drop just a few degrees, or if you hear the faint, metallic clink of a glass bangle hitting the floor, do not open your eyes. Just keep praying until the sun comes up. Because sometimes the story doesn't end when the video stops. She's looking for a new tether, and you just listened to every word. Stay safe if you can. This was File 1109. Good night.